This is Round by Round with Daniel and my brother Derek, and we're going to be talking about intensity and what intensity is. So it'll be heavy compounds, and what heavy compounds consist of would be squats, deadlifts, presses, rows, weighted pull-ups, and weighted dips. And also, we'll also be talking about ballistics, which would be ballistics, Derek.
Ballistic movements, yeah, that's also going to be in your intensity days because it's the act of moving something very very quickly. It's pretty much as quickly as you can, and that's always going to fall under intensity. So, and what ballistic movements are is going to be any type of medicine ball throw. All right, if it's going to be a chest pass, it's going to be an overhead throw. If it's going to be some type of rotational throw, um, a slam, a medicine ball slam, it's ballistic, because it's leaving your body. And also, what ties into that, it would be your jumps, your broad jumps, vertical jump, your double jumps. Those are also ballistic because your body's leaving the ground. So it's ballistic. You become ballistic at that point. And that's other things that are in the same category but aren't so ballistic would be like your landmine work. If you put the barbell in the corner of the room and you do like you mimic a punch or you do some type of rotation with a barbell with weight plates. That's just moving something very fast. You're moving the weight very fast, and that in itself, training the muscles to move fast like that, that right there is going to be intensity because you can only move something so fast for so long.
So, so with the heavy compounds and intensity, we'll go ahead and start with squats. So, with the squats, we would do heavy weights, low reps. So, 3 reps, 5 sets,
Yes.
and we would be trying to go up weight. So, like, let's just say you're at 300,
Hmm.
and you plateau right there. You can no longer pass 300. 300 is your maxing out. Well, you would say maxed out right there at 300. How would you go back? So you would go back down to 250, and then you'd go back up 5 pounds per session, per weight session. So your workout session would be insisted in 5 pounds of increase increments per workout. That would be with your squats. So you'd hit 255. Next workout session you'd hit 260. And then you would hit 265 until you hit back up to 300. Then you should be able to just ease right through it and hit up to like 220, 225, 230, 235.
Yeah. Yeah. You'd progressively go past that.
And that would be with your heavy compounds. And that also goes with deadlifts, presses, and rows. And
Weighted dips and pull-ups as well.
yeah, as well as weighted dips and pull-ups.
Weighted dips and pull-ups, those are even easier to progress on because you can progress 2.5 pounds without having any type of micro plates. Because if you have the standard weight plates and every standard weight plate has 2.5s, that's how you progress 5 pounds on your other big
And
lifts.
you would want to stay in 10 rep range with the pull-ups and dips.
Well, pull-ups and dips, you could go pretty low because you could load those up, man. Like those
So
are
five or 10.
five or even three. I like to use three just so I could go really heavy because I use three and go really heavy on them because I know on my volume days I'm getting a lot of dips and I'm getting a lot of push-ups and I'm getting a lot of pull-ups and I'm getting mad volume on pull-ups. So just go mad heavy on them on my intensity days. Like I'll load it up, man. 2 plates, 90 pounds, 90 plus pounds. I'll do 3 reps. You know what I mean? Because if you the goal should be 100. If you could do 100 pounds hanging off your waist, a pull up from dead hang to your chin over the bar, yeah, dude, you're a strong motherfucker, man. You're a strong motherfucker. Same
So
thing with the press. The press, I'd say the goal for the press would be 205.
205
205 for the overhead press.
for the overhead press.
Uh-huh.
All right. And you would move up increments of 2.5 or a 5.
5 pounds for press. I mean, if you could buy some micro plates to move up like slower, then like that's better. But
And this would be upper on your heavy compounds.
yeah, these are all upper body.
So we'll go ahead and
compounds.
go into upper. We'll go ahead and talk about presses, rows, and the benefits on what they do for you.
Presses and rows. I like to pair those together. I like to pair those with my squats. All right. But since we're talking about upper body, I'll get into the presses. Man, there's a lot of variations you can do, man. You could do push presses. You could do your standing overhead presses. Your average press. You could do presses with the football bar, and that the football bar, all that is a bar, and it has the neutral grip handles. So now instead of having that overhand grip, you're pressing it over. Now you have like a neutral grip, and you're pressing it over. It's just a little bit easier on the shoulders, you know. If you have access to one, I say fucking use it. It's fucking
Um,
great.
is there differences between back presses and frontwards presses? Like you would be pressing from chest up instead of the back
Oh,
of
behind
the
the
head
neck.
up.
Uh, I know some people. I know some pretty strong guys actually. I know some pretty strong guys that press from behind the head. And you know, he's a strongman competitor. You know, I would like to have him on the show. Um, and he does presses from behind the head. He does the same amount of presses he does in front of his head. He does in the back of his head with the same weight. Crazy dude, man. Super strong, and that works for him. You know what I mean? But I say each into their own. Me personally, I don't like the way the behind the head press feels. But if you like the way it feels, I say go for it.
I think it's just also working on
And it,
different muscles.
yeah, it's definitely working different muscles. I say it's working more of the.
That's why I would that's why it could be also consistent with the rows, because with the rows you would be doing pull resistance for your intensity on your heavy compounds.
Yeah.
So you'd be pulling it. You'd be pulling it, which would be more in the aspects of doing a backwards press, which you would be going behind the head.
You're working the posterior muscles.
Yeah, and you would be pulling your muscles back, and then you'd be pushing them upwards.
Because you have, so anything in the front of your body is anterior. Anything in the back is posterior. Alright, posterior, posterior. Alright, so rows is working all posterior. Rows will work the fuck out of your posterior chain. From your hamstrings, glutes, lower back, middle back, lats, even your upper back, you know, depending on how upright you are. So, like, I say everyone should do their rows from the floor. If not from the floor, from blocks. But from a dead stop. Do your rows from a dead stop, because it's going to work more explosiveness that way. Because now you're ripping it off the floor. You know what I mean? Because when you're doing a barbell row and it's not hitting the floor and you're holding it and rowing it, I feel like it's more of a stretch reflex, which isn't bad, you know. And I'm not saying that you can't do it that way, but I'm just saying for more athletic endeavors, when it comes to explosiveness, I would say row it from the floor, or row it from blocks, or row it from the pins inside the power rack. And that way, it's more of an explosive action. You're grabbing that bar, squeezing the fuck out of it, boom, ripping it up to the sternum or to the belly button. And there's a lot of variations when it comes to rows. Like I said, you can have it from the floor, you can have it from a deficit, you can have it from on pins, you can have it on blocks, and you can also use the different bars, you know. Like the football bar, like I was saying, with that neutral grip, you get that neutral grip on that pin lay row, and now it's really, ooh man, you can really feel the lats now. That's the most advantageous grip, I think, is that neutral grip, you know, because now you're working more muscles in the forearms and biceps and the arms. Pretty much, you're working more muscles in the arms, and you're getting that better grip, and you're not going to pop a bicep doing it either. You know what I mean? But that's just a whole nother thing. But like I said, your presses and your rows, they pair nicely together. You know what I mean? You're pressing up from your chest past your chin, pressing it over your head. Man, that's just an absolute display of strength, man. If you can press 200 pounds from your chest over your head and hold it, you're a strong motherfucker. Like, period. You know what I mean? There's
right,
not.
So for instance, like a guy like me, doing that as a weight for the weight I am, which would be like 150, and push pressing over 220 over my head. That's a strong motherfucker, right?
Yes, that's a strong motherfucker. And to be honest, you're gonna be heavier than 150 when you do it. I don't see someone at your height. I don't see them weighing 150 and pressing over 200 pounds over their head. Not strict anyway. You might be able to push press it if you learn the motor pattern, if you're proficient at the motor pattern. But strict pressing over your head, weighing 150, strict pressing over 200 pounds over your head, I don't see it happening.
It would have to be what?
I would say you'd probably you'd pack on some muscle just trying to get there, dude. You'd packing on muscle because size equals strength. You know what I mean? When it comes to fighting sports, we try to mitigate that as much as possible because we don't want to gain too much weight. But at the same time, we still want to be strong. It's going to make everything else better. You know, it's going to make our head movement better. It's going to make our foot movement better. It's going to make our punches a hell of a lot better because they're going to have more thump in them, you know. But, I mean, people forget. That's why there's weight class. People say, oh, size don't matter. Size fucking matters. If size didn't matter, there'd be no fucking weight classes. Never forget that shit. You know, I can't stand with a motherfucker. Oh, size don't matter. Look, motherfucker. If you take two opponents that have the same skill level, the bigger person's gonna win. If they have the same skill level.
Yeah.
Bruce Lee said that shit. And
yeah,
he was 130
I agree
pounds.
with you. Yep.
So when you're lifting weights, it's going to make you bigger. It's going to make you stronger. And so if the guy you're fighting has the same skill level you, but you lift more than him, and y'all have the same amount of skill, let's say he puts in 60 rounds a week, and you put in 60 rounds a week consistently, you've both been doing it consistently, but you're a hell of a lot stronger than him, you're going to beat the motherfucking shit out of him, dude. That's just, we're done. That's what's going to happen. All right? Unless the styles just don't match up, you know what I mean? Unless he's just a counter fighter from hell, and you're just not quick enough for him. But I mean, I'm talking about just skill levels being on par with each other. The stronger person is gonna have the harder hits, and the other person ain't gonna want it, dude. And the person that's stronger is also gonna be able to take a little bit more hits too.
Would you to start with the base of your strength? It would have to start with your lower abdominal muscles.
Yeah, your lower body. So yeah, your lower body, man. I say, if you have a strong squat, strong deadlift, and what I consider a strong squat is 4 plates.
Also, like leg muscles, so your lower body.
Yeah.
Right.
If you're squatting 4 plates aside, which is 4 or 5, you're strong. If you're deadlifting 5 plates aside, which is I think it's 500 pounds, it's 495, but you could throw some 2.5s on there. At 500 pounds, if you're deadlifting 500 pounds, you're squatting 400 pounds. You are a strong motherfucker. Like, you're strong.
So you would be strong all the way up.
You're strong across the board. If you're an average height guy, like if you're an average height, like we're average height. I'm 5'9", you're 5'10", right? 5'11", 5'10". We hit those numbers, we're strong. Period. All right, and to put it all that into perspective, you want a nice looking upper body that's proportionate to your lower body that's so strong. You want to be able to get a 200-pound press, a 100-pound pull-up, a 300-pound bench press. Which bench press I'm not too concerned about. I'd rather see you do weighted dips. You know, that's just my personal preference. I think that's gonna carry over more for you. It's gonna do more for you because you're moving your body through space and time, which is always a benefit. Bench press doesn't really do that.
And I'd just be doing 3 reps of that.
And when it comes to intensity, you always want to do no more than 5 reps. You know, you could do 5 reps, but I like to keep it at 3 because then you could go
3
heavier.
3 reps, 5 sets.
5 sets, yeah.
Okay.
Three reps. 5 sets of 3 reps.
And that would be for intensity.
And that's
for all the heavy compounds
and that's for your heavy compounds.
Talked.
Minus the deadlift. You're going to want to do 1 rep. Because the deadlift, like I said, will fuck you off more than any other exercise. It's going to tax you a lot more than anything else. Don't ask me why. That's just how it is.
Okay, so that said, all those heavy compounds listed, what about ballistics?
Ballistics, oh yeah, we're getting back to ballistics. It's getting your muscles to fire off quickly. When you're throwing an object like a medicine ball, if you're jumping, you know what I mean? If you're jumping onto a box.
You would want to do lots of more reps than that, right?
You would want to do a few more, but not too much more, okay? Because when you're talking about a jump, I'm not talking about, oh, let me jump on a 20-inch box 100 times. No. I'm talking about jump on it like a 45-inch, 46-inch box, 48-inch box. That's 4 feet. You know what I mean? That's getting your body to fire off really fucking quickly.
So,
all right, and you're wanting to do anywhere from 10 to 5 repetitions of that, 5 sets again. You know what I mean? Keep it all 5 sets because remember, this is a not superset, but giant setted format. You're going to go either your squat or your deadlift. You're going to go either your press or your dip. You're going to go either your pin lay row or your weighted pull-up, and then you're going to do some type of ballistics movement, which is going to be some type of medicine ball throw or some type of jump, all right? And all that is training your body to move very explosively, and it's waking up a lot of muscle fibers. When you go back to lift those heavy weights, more muscle fibers will be activated because you fired it off quickly. You know what I mean? When you move quicker you move, the more muscle fibers get activated. Just put it that way. If you got somebody moving around all slow and fucking lackadaisical, his muscle fibers aren't firing as fast as someone who's fucking hyper and someone who's up moving quickly. All right, so get your body used to moving quickly, man. More muscle fibers will start to turn on, and when you go lift your weights, you're gonna feel the difference.
Yep.
All right, that's intensity for you. You know what I mean? Intensity is not to get you all exhausted and hot and sweaty. That's not what we're doing here. What we're doing here is we're getting you more explosive and we're getting you more strength. Okay.
So like those fast twitching.
Fast twitch fibers. Okay.
Yep.
Fast twitch fibers. Because that's what's gonna make you faster. The stronger you are, the faster you could be.
It'd be like a sprint instead of a long run.
Yes. We got the.
That's what intensity is.
Yeah, intensity. You're never gonna do anything intense for a long time. Because if you could do it for a long time, then it's not fucking intense. It's taxing some other type of energy system. But you're not getting stronger. If you could do it for a long time, it's not intense.
Well, then you would need to move up more weights.
Exactly.
So going back to squats and deadlifts. So you're talking about right here, 300 pounds. What would you do when you plateau? Would you go back weight? Or is there another way? Is there an easier way to it?
I wouldn't say easier way, but there definitely is another way. Like, let's say you've done the percentage method, right? And you could jump back 20%, you can jump back 10% of whatever weight. So 10% of 300, you could go back to 270 and progress 5 pounds. Or you could even go back to 250 if you're comfortable with that. But I would say go back 10%. A 10% reset, right? That's one way. Another way is just to be on concurrent periodization. And all that means is you're working 2 capabilities simultaneously throughout the week. So the first day of your week, you're working your speed. All right, you're working your dynamic effort method, which is you're moving that weight very quickly. All right, and it's going to be half of your 1 rep max, your estimated 1 rep max. So if your estimated 1 rep max, or your estimated even 3 rep max, you could even work off that if you choose, especially if recovery is an issue for you. So let's say 300 pounds. All right, half of that. All right, so about 150. You could raise it a little bit. You could put 185 on the bar. You could put 155 on the bar, depending on how you feel that day. But as long as you can move that weight fast. All right, you put in 155 on the bar. Okay, now you're going to add chains to that bar. Chains. And what the chains are going to do, it's going to make it to where that bar speed is much quicker now. Because now, as the bar goes up, it gets heavier. So now you have to move it fast. All right, now just by those chains being on there, now you're moving it much quicker. All right, so now you're moving the bar quicker, and then when you get to your intensity, you already done practice the movement pattern, moving it quickly, and now it's going to be heavy. Now, when you get under the bar, you're going to try to move it quickly again. What happens when you move something quickly? You're recruiting more muscle fiber. When you're recruiting more muscle fiber, you can lift more weight.
For those who don't know about the chain, how does it work for you? Like, is it something that it's light when it's down and heavy when it's up?
Yeah. So let's say each chain link is a pound, and there's 20 links. And let's say you throw it on the bar or whatever, and 10 links are on the ground. So, 10 links on each side is 20 pounds. So as the squat comes up, now the links are coming up off the ground. So it's adding 2 pounds, 2 pounds, 2 pounds, 2 pounds as you come up. So it's just adding weight as you come up. But here's the thing: when you're in the hole in the squat, when you're low in the squat, you're in a down, you're at your weakest, and that's when the bar's at its lightest. When you're standing up, you're at your strongest. That's when the bar's at its heaviest. So it goes with your strength. You know what I mean? As you come up from a squat.
And that would help me surpass like plateau effect.
The plateaus.
Like if the effect would be 300, you're saying go down 70, or go down half, which would be like
150, around
150, or you could go up to 185.
Yeah, you could bring it up. I
would just put chain links on, and then go from there and then see where I'm at.
Squat fast, yeah.
Squat fast, like doing low reps, right?
Low reps still. Yeah,
low
you're
reps
moving
just
as quickly
quicker,
as you can.
But more explosive.
Way more explosive. As quickly as you can, man. Like, you should try to pop up off the ground with that shit. And that's concurrent. You have a speed day, dynamic effort day, and then you have a heavy day. And you rotate the exercise each week. So you might do a back squat, then you might switch it to a exercer squat, you might switch it to a front squat, you might switch it to a safety bar squat, and then, back to a back squat and see if it had went up at that point. If not, and you keep switching exercises and you keep doing first day speed, second day heavy. All right. And that right there will entail your intensity. And you do the same thing with deadlifts. You got your trap bar, high handle, low handle. You got your deficit deadlifts. You got your block pulls. All that stuff for deadlift wise. You got your sumo deadlift, conventional deadlift. All the variations of deadlifts, all the variations of squats. You're rotating them weekly. And you're having the first day of the week, a speed day, the second day of the week, as heavy as you can go day. All right, and you could also do this for your upper body lifts, your presses. All right, you got your pin press, you got your push press, you got your football bar press, um, other presses. All right, and then you have your rows. Same thing. You could do rows off blocks. You could do rows off pins. You could do them from different heights. You could use your standard barbell. You could use a football bar. There's so many different options with the rows now too. And for rows you could use bands. Rows and deadlifts, I like to use bands, dude. It's just so much harder, and it's something that it just snaps the bar. It wants to snap the bar from you. You know what I mean? It just works the grip that much fucking harder. If you can deadlift half your max deadlift plus like
Resistance.
60 80 pounds of bands, man, that's trying to rip that deadlift to the ground. Like, you're really having to move that deadlift quick and that row quick. Rows and deadlifts are very related, closely related, I think. And your presses and your squats, believe it or not, or similarly, they're related in a way because you're trying to press things up, right? Squat, I mean, if you think about it, you're just trying to press the weight up. If you think about it, same thing with the press, you're trying to press the weight up. A deadlift,
So
you're
that
trying
would
to
be with your upper.
rip it from the ground. Yeah.
Yep.
Weighted pull-ups and dips, chains.
Chains and weights
Chains, yeah. Put some weight plates on. Put some chains
around your neck and just start doing some dips.
Yeah, just doing some dips. I would hang the chains from your waist, and as you go down in the dip and you're in the hole of the dip, it's lighter. And as you come up, it gets heavier. And if you're doing your dips quickly, you're gonna explode. You're gonna feel that explosion. All right, and then let's say after that you're doing the ballistic move. Let's say you're doing a med ball throw, or you're doing an overhead throw, you're doing a med ball slam, you're doing jumps, you're doing some type of rotational throw, something where you're moving very quickly. Okay, you're doing that every time you train intensity. But like I said, man, that's concurrent right there. You're taking your 6 big movement patterns plus your ballistic movements, and you're just rotating through variations, and you're doing 1 day speed, 1 day heavy. And you're always going to want to do 5 sets from 3 repetitions to 5 repetitions. Deadlifts, you want to go lower, you want to go 1 repetition. Rows, you want to go higher, you want to go 5 repetitions. Your body weight stuff like your dips and pull-ups, you can go 5 repetitions. But when it comes to intensity, never go above 5.
Okay.
Never go above 5. That's just how it is. All right. You want to go above 5? Go fucking work volume and go as high as you want to go. Go 20. Yeah, for all I give a fuck. It's volume.
But that wouldn't be working out on my my weights. Like, if I'm trying to increase on weights, I'd focus on intensity, lower reps, low sets, but just
because when it comes to intensity, you want that shit harder. Put more fucking weight on the bar. Put more weight on you, and then now it's harder.
Yeah,
right?
It'll start getting harder when you go up weight too.
Yeah, hell yeah.